Welcome to today's Catholic Daily Readings from Christus Dominus Bread of Life. A reading from the first book of Maccabees. Then said Judas and his brothers, "Behold, our enemies have been crushed. Let us ascend to cleanse and dedicate the sanctuary." And so all the army assembled, and they went up to Mount Zion. And they saw the sanctuary as desolate, and the altar profaned, and the gates burned with fire, and shrubs growing in the courts as in a forest or on one of the mountains, and the priests' chambers destroyed. And they tore their garments and mourned with great lamentation, and they put dust on their heads. And they fell upon the ground, and they sounded the trumpets of lamentation, and they cried out to heaven. Then Judas appointed priests, men without blemish, zealous in the law, to cleanse the sanctuary. And they cleansed the sanctuary, and they removed the stones of defilement into an unclean place. And they took counsel about the altar of holocausts, which had been profaned, what they should do with it. And they decided to tear it down, lest it should be a reproach to them, because the Gentiles had defiled it. So on the 25th day of the 9th month, which is called Kislev, in the 148th year, they rose up early and offered sacrifice, according to the law, upon the new altar of holocausts that they had made. And at the time and on the day that the Gentiles had profaned it, on the 25th day of the month Kislev, they dedicated it with songs and citharas and harps and cymbals. And all the people fell upon their faces and adored, and blessed the God of heaven, who had given them success. And they kept the dedication of the altar for 8 days with joy, and they offered holocausts and victims of salvation and peace offerings. And they decorated the front of the temple with crowns of gold and small shields. And they renewed the gates and the chambers for the priests, and they made doors for them with locks and bars. And there was very great joy among the people. And Judas and his brothers and all the assembly of Israel gathered to dedicate the altar, and with gladness and joy for 3 days. They celebrated the dedication of the altar, offering holocausts upon it with due solemnity.
Blessed are you, O Lord our God, God of Israel, ancient and eternal. Before mountains rose or stars were placed, your name stood in glory unshaken. From age to age your throne endures, your kingdom shining with endless light. Every breath of heaven is yours, every grain of earth, every beating heart. We stand in the temple of your greatness, lifted by your mercy, held in your hand.
presence fills the sanctuary.
Your radiance shakes the earth.
The columns tremble, the veil glows white. Holiness pouring like fire through the courts. A child walks into your house, her small hands lifted,
Her heart completely yours.
the temple sees purity, walk its stones, the future of salvation carried in innocence. Receive, O Lord, the offering of her life, the one whose yes will open heaven.
We praise your glorious name, Almighty God.
Let every angel cry holy, let every nation bow low. Yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory, from everlasting to everlasting. We praise your glorious name, Almighty God.
Rose beneath your
You wrap yourself in light as in a garment, and all creation sings its all. We praise your glorious name, Almighty God. Forever exalted, forever enthroned in light. From your hand comes strength, from your throne comes glory. Your presence fills the sanctuary. Your radiance shakes the earth. The columns tremble, the veil glows white. Holiness pouring like fire through the courts.
A child walks into your house, her small hands lifted, her heart completely yours.
The temple sees purity, walk its stones.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. And entering into the temple, he began to cast out those who were selling in it and those who were buying, saying to them, "It is written, my house is a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves." And he was teaching daily in the temple, but the chief priests and the scribes and the leaders of the people were seeking to destroy him. And they did not find what they might do to him, for all the people were listening to him attentively. Join us for today's reflection. Today we remember when Mary's parents brought her to the temple as a young girl and dedicated her completely to God, not just bringing her for the required purification, not just fulfilling the law. They gave her, completely, to live in the temple, to be raised for God's service, a child dedicated before she understood what it meant. That's the memorial, a little girl walking into the temple knowing her parents were leaving her there. Not visiting, not temporary, permanent dedication, total consecration, everything given to God before she was old enough to negotiate or calculate cost. This connects to everything in today's readings. Judas and his brothers said, "Come, let us restore our sanctuary and dedicate it." They went up to Mount Zion and found the sanctuary desolate, the altar desecrated. They purified the sanctuary, made a new altar, offered sacrifice. Then they celebrated the dedication of the altar for 8 days. The temple had been profaned. Antiochus had sacrificed pigs on the altar, set up a statue of Zeus, made it a place of abomination. For 3 years it stood desecrated. Then Judas recaptured Jerusalem. The first thing they did wasn't celebrate military victory. They restored the temple, purified what had been defiled, made it holy again, because victory means nothing if you don't have a place for God. Mary's presentation is the same thing. Her parents weren't just fulfilling a religious custom. They were saying this child belongs to God, not partially, not when it's convenient, completely, from childhood, before she can choose for herself. We're dedicating her now because she's his, not ours. That sounds extreme until you understand what it produced. The girl dedicated in the temple became the mother of God. The child given completely to God became the one who carried God himself. The total consecration in childhood prepared her for total consecration in adulthood. When the angel came asking her to bear the Messiah, she said yes immediately, because she'd already been saying yes her whole life. Jesus entered the temple area and proceeded to drive out those who were selling things. My house shall be a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves. The temple was supposed to be a place of dedication, a place where people came to give everything to God. Instead, it had become a marketplace, a place of transaction, a place where people brought enough to fulfill requirements but kept the rest for themselves. Partial dedication, calculated sacrifice, religion without total consecration. Jesus cleared it out, violently, because a temple that's a marketplace isn't a temple. A place where you negotiate with God instead of surrendering to God isn't holy. It's profaned, maybe not with pigs like Antiochus, but with commerce, with calculation, with keeping most of what you have while giving God the minimum. Mary's parents didn't calculate minimum requirement. They didn't bring her for a ceremony and take her home. They dedicated her completely, left her there, gave her entirely. That's what the temple is supposed to be for, total consecration, not partial compliance. Yours, O Lord, are grandeur and power, majesty, splendor, and glory. Yours, O Lord, is the sovereignty. You are exalted as head over all. Riches and honor are from you. You have dominion over all. Everything belongs to God. Not most things, not the religious parts. Everything. Riches come from him. Honor comes from him. Power comes from him. You don't own anything. You manage what he entrusted. And the proper response to that reality is total dedication, not calculated giving, complete consecration. Mary understood this from childhood, not because she figured it out, because her parents dedicated her before she could resist, before she could negotiate, before she could calculate cost versus benefit. They gave her completely, and she grew up in that reality. Everything belongs to God. I am his, completely. When the angel came, she didn't need to think about it. Behold the handmaid of the Lord. Let it be done to me according to your word. That's total consecration speaking. That's someone who was dedicated as a child and remained dedicated as an adult. That's what complete surrender to God looks like. The people were hanging on his words. That's what happened when Jesus cleansed the temple. The chief priests and scribes wanted to kill him, but they couldn't because the people were hanging on his words. When you restore the temple to what it's supposed to be, people respond. Not the religious professionals who turned it into a marketplace. They resist, but ordinary people hungry for God hang on every word. Mary's total dedication produced the same thing. She didn't become famous for it. She didn't get recognition for being dedicated in the temple, but her complete consecration prepared her to bear God himself. And when she said yes, everything changed, not just for her, for the entire world. Because one person completely dedicated to God becomes the vessel through which God enters the world. You're holding back not everything, just enough to feel like you're still in control. You give God Sunday, you give God some money, you give God the religious parts of your life, but you keep the rest. Your career is yours, your money is yours, your time is yours, your future is yours. You'll consult God about those things. You'll include him in decisions, but they're fundamentally yours, not his. That's not dedication. That's negotiation. That's the temple as marketplace. That's calculated minimum requirement while keeping most of what you have for yourself. Your life is supposed to be a temple, a place of total dedication, a place where everything belongs to God, but you've made it a marketplace, a place of transaction, a place where you give some and keep most. Jesus would clear it out, violently, because partial dedication isn't dedication, calculated sacrifice isn't sacrifice, Religion that lets you keep control isn't relationship with God. What are you holding back? What part of your life have you kept from God? What are you negotiating instead of surrendering? The temple isn't supposed to be a marketplace. Your life isn't supposed to be partial dedication. Everything belongs to Him. Give it completely, like Mary's parents gave her, like Judas dedicated the temple, like Jesus demands when He clears out anything less than total consecration. She gave everything. That's the memorial. That's what made her the mother of God, not intelligence, not worthiness. Total dedication from childhood that prepared her for total availability in adulthood. You want that? Stop negotiating. Stop calculating. Stop keeping most while giving some. Give everything. Now, before you can talk yourself out of it.